Get up, off-worlder. I couldn't wait for you. But now you need to run. The sandworm is coming. Run. No.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Dune Awakening. This is a game I have been extremely excited to play. I actually did play the beta version for a bit, so I have a decent understanding of the very early parts of the game, but really have not experienced much outside of that. This is a MMO type open world survival crafting game similar to something like Conan Exiles. I believe it's actually made by the same company that makes that game. So super excited to dive in here. My plan for right now is obviously gather up like bushes and rocks, basic beginning materials here, but I want to kind of rush to the iron zone as fast as I can. That's about as far as I made it in the beta version. So I'm just going to gather up a bunch of this stuff, get our basic materials crafted up. Man, this game is so beautiful. I love the Dune movies. I haven't read the books yet, but I definitely plan on doing that someday. But the setting of this game is just so awesome. The technology, everything that you can do is just really in my strike zone. So super excited to dive into this one. Gonna be doing a solo playthrough here. So hopefully we can make it to kind of like the end game content solo here. We'll see how good that goes. I'm kind of on a lower population server with the hopes of the end game not being completely dominated by like a giant clan kind of when I get there. So we kind of have a chance to do some stuff as a solo player, but we'll see how this ends up. But yes, for right now, let's go ahead and enter our crafting menu. I'm just going to, we already have the research ready to go for the basic clothing. And there is kind of like a little bit of a tutorial guide here to get you through the very beginning stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and craft all of the basic stuff up here. We're going to want a lot of this. We're also, of course, going to want the cut array. Improvised cut array. We already have that recipe unlocked, so I think we go ahead and craft that. Or actually, I think... Okay, yeah, we start with the cut array and a knife, so we don't need to do that. But we have the full set of makeshift clothing. Let's go ahead and get all of that equipped here. There we go. And we kind of have this NPC guiding us through the early game stuff here.
And use it to make a Mauler pistol and darts. And that is to your advantage.
All right. So just kind of going around gathering stuff. The starting location, I believe, is a little different than it was in the beta. We're kind of off to the right side of the map, whereas in the beta you were way off to the left side. So I think we kind of progress towards our marker there. That purple marker is going to be our first trial, and the sort of first thing that you want to rush is unlocking the classes, completing the trial missions here, and kind of just, in my opinion, try to get out of the starter zone as quick as possible. You could like take your time and do a little bit of sightseeing and all of that, but I kind of want to get out of the starter zone and into something a little bit more serious, a little bit more quickly. And to do that, we're going to unlock the pistol and the bolts here. Very important. So we'll go ahead and craft a pistol, a bunch of bolts here. I won't use all of my ammunition, but we'll have a good amount of bolts. And with that, we can actually take on this little camp here. Pretty simple in the very early game. Get away with just some headshots on these guys. They're not super challenging. Kind of pick up their loot as you go. These little camps are going to be a great source of some starter materials, especially scrap metal early on. So you just want to whip out your cut array and grab all that stuff up while you can here. Grab a fuel cell while we're at it, and continue on in this direction while also trying to complete our objectives. So next we're going to want to craft a respawn beacon, so we need to unlock that. Go ahead and craft one of those up, and that will be our next quest objective complete. This will allow you to respawn wherever you place it. You can pick it up and move it with you wherever you go, so we can take this to a little bit more of a dangerous location and pop that down. Alright, so I just leveled up. Before we cross this big sand, Our next quest, of course, is to find a small camp, so we're going to have to craft up some binoculars. But before I do that, I want to look at my skill menu here. I chose the Bene Gesserit as the starter class mainly because it has this sprint ability, which is really awesome. And also in the starting zone in this area we're here, the Haga Basin, you can find the Trooper, which also has the other best movement skill in the game, this grappling hook. So those are the two classes I would recommend maybe picking between. But let's go ahead and unlock the sprint while we can here. Yep, we have our skill unlocked and equipped. Thank you for that little message. If we come over here, we can outrun the sandworm just like that. Absolutely beautiful. We're out of stamina, but we just boosted all the way across into the safe zone. No need for concern. That is a super cool ability, and the grappling hook is also very useful, so one of those two would be a good place to start. But since you can get the grappling hook pretty easily in this zone, I went with the Bene Gesserit as my starter. But the next thing we're going to need is the binoculars. Go ahead and craft this up, and we're going to have to find ourselves a camp. But out there you can see there's the sandworm burrowing through the sand. That thing, if it eats you while you're out in the sand dunes out there, very dangerous. You will lose everything that you have permanently. So you do not want to get eaten by the sandworm. That is the absolute worst thing that can happen. Definitely do everything in your power to avoid that. There's a crashed ship over here, or a crashed buggy. And there looks to be a camp over here as well, so let's go ahead and scout that camp out. Put a pin there. Now we just have to clear that camp, but I also definitely want to get the buggy here. Might as well grab it while we're here. You just need to whip out your cutter ray. You can pull this thing apart. There we go, very cool. Now we're going to climb up here. Make sure we get our gun out. There is full climbing in this game, like Breath of the Wild or, any other game that has some kind of climbing skill like that. But there we go, super easy early camps here. Make sure we grab the loot. Alright, but cool stuff. We're making pretty good progress here. Making my way over to the first quest marker. We have another camp right here. Might as well grab this while we're here. I actually kind of want to see what the voice ability does.
Someone here. I need help.
It kind of looks like it just makes them docile, which is interesting. Oh, that guy was healing themselves. Alright, we got a healing bandage. I haven't crafted any of those yet, but probably should craft some of those. One thing that I did miss earlier was a cave. Oh, and these are power cells, so similar to a game like Rust, you need to upkeep your base to make sure it doesn't disappear after a certain number of hours or days. The power cells are used to fuel your base. They're also used to fuel your vehicles once you craft them, so useful item to gather when you see them, especially early on. A little cave, I don't think I've seen this one before. Very dark in here. Don't know if I can do anything about that. If I had the grappling hook, that's something I could grab over there, but for now I think we're just going to leave it. The main thing that I wanted here actually was some free water. That's very nice. That little membrane that was at the mouth of the cave, that is a useful material for crafting a number of things. So when you find caves, just cut your way through that membrane. It'll teach you about that in the tutorial as well. But doing that will give you that material, and that will be very useful for you. We are just jetting through this early game stuff. You can definitely take your time and, be at peace with the beautiful world and all of that if you would like, but I did that when I played the beta version, so I'm going to take things a little bit more quickly here. I am going to take this camp here, so these... Ooh, my aim is not very good right now. These little camps with the 3 house-looking icon, ooh, there's a lot of enemies here. That is a camp that contains intel points, so basically technology points that you can get for free to unlock new recipes and all of that kind of stuff. Just a quick parry, got them taken care of. Got a nice little lootable chest here with a, unique recipe, unique blueprint. That's nice to find, but the main thing we want are the technology points. So I'm kind of just searching around here. And there it is, right there. Oh. You want to grab these when you can. There's 3 intel points right there. That's all we're going to do here. We're just going to grab this and let's get out of here. Just going to keep looting and scooting as we go here. Got a few intel points. That'll be very useful. Oh, and we can hear the sandworm. There he is right there. That is your mortal enemy in this game. If that thing eats you, everything is gone. Everything that you have on you. Absolutely brutal. And these little buildings you can see, these are all player housing. So people just set up their little starter shacks out in this area. I will get a little starter shack set up pretty much as soon as it's required of me. The game is going to force me to do that as a part of the tutorial, but I think first things first, let's go ahead and complete the first trial here. So I'm going to go ahead into this cave where that little purple marker was, and each time you complete one of these trials, you unlock a new technology. So you definitely want to kind of prioritize these early on. Make sure you get yourself that very important stuff unlocked as soon as you can. But these trials are... Ooh. I've experienced a spice dream. Okay. Very cool. Teaches me about the inner sight path, all the purple quests that we're going to have to complete. Let's go ahead and complete the first one here. So if you're interested in the story, you know, the cutscenes are all very well made, very interesting, but this playthrough is just going to be focused on the gameplay.
Who is it that thinks in the words of the Kitab al-Ibad?
Yeah, this first sort of challenge is just avoiding the light from these eyeballs. A little bit of a mini stealth mission, if you will. Super simple. I'm just going to burn through this thing. We're going as fast as we can. I want to get to Ironland pretty much ASAP, so I'm just going to be sprinting through. The story is actually very interesting, especially if you've seen the movies or read the books, so I would recommend if you pick this game up, check out the cutscenes, listen to the dialogue. I experienced all of that in the beta, so once I get to the portions of the game where I don't know the story, I think I'm going to pay a little bit more attention there. Sneak under the bridge on this one. Alright, run on through. This area is kind of laggy. A little unfortunate. Performance is dipping a bit here. We're on the last eyeball here, I believe. Alright, there we go. Should be able to go here. Oh, he opened up faster than I thought he would. Ah! You reset me. Let's play it safe here. I'll wait for one more cycle and then we'll go. Alright, and there we go. First trial complete. You can see our next mission is to find those moisture caves to get that material, so we got one of them. We're going to need a few more than that, though. Alright, we'll unlock the basic construction. Our next mission is going to be to set up our little starter base, so I am also going to unlock water-related stuff. So in this game, in order to get water to survive, you can't just pick it up out of a pool of water. You're in a giant desert, so you're going to need to suck the blood out of the enemies that you kill and turn that blood into water through a purification process. So very brutal, metal kind of way of doing it, but that's how it works in the Dune world. That guy's got a nice little base over there. As you can see, when you're out in the sun, there's that little bar that increases. If that goes all the way up and you get heat stroke, your thirst is going to go down extremely quickly, so you want to kind of avoid that as much as possible. So I'm just going to grab up some more rock here. Make sure we have enough. 150 is what it requires of us. Come over here by this guy's base, grab up his stone here. I'm sure he won't mind. Alright, so we unlocked the construction tool. Let's go ahead and craft one up here. I also will craft the blood tool and the blood pack, so make maybe 2 of those. That way we can start sucking the blood out of our enemies as we kill them. And over here is actually another enemy encampment for some more research materials, so I will, I think, hit this up. And we can start sucking the blood out of these guys as well. Ooh. Alright. Again, super simple early on here. Not much of a challenge with the enemies, but there we go. We use our blood-sucking device. We have 1,000 milliliters of blood right there. Make sure we get all of our spoils here. It's going to be 3,000 liters of blood, which is one of our small packs already. And there's another 1,000 liters right there. Oh, getting shot at. I'm going to quickly clear this little camp out, get our intel. Ooh, okay. We're going to take this guy melee here. Alright, there we go. That's 6,000 blood already. 2 packs worth. So leveling up, in my opinion, in this game is less important than clearing these camps because you can get so many intel points from these. Right now it's only 3, but in the higher level areas you get like 5 per camp and then 10 and then 20. So getting these intels at the camps is probably one of the fastest ways to progress your technology. Grab these power cells here, and I think we're about ready to do our starter base. Let's go ahead, pop our way quickly across the desert. And we just avoided the sunstroke. Ooh, there's the worm right there. Got a little close to us. And our inventory is totally full, so we need to set down roots right now. And I think I'm going to do it over here. This little lab right here is kind of a good spot to build next to. These people really went all out on their starter base. Look at that thing. Very cool. Kind of over in this general area. There's also a crashed ship over in that direction, which is useful. So it would be good to be close by. So I think this is as good a spot as we can get early on, maybe. Alright, but here we go. Get our little starter base set up, maybe just right here in this little valley here. We'll start off by placing, I mean, this is about as close as we can get. So I'm just gonna, I think, maybe do it in this little valley here. Get our sub-fief. We need 4 foundations, so really simple, small starter base here. I am gonna need a little staircase here. Oh, it's blocked. Let's just put it here then, I guess. That'll be our entrance. Get a door here. Boom. Get our walls up. Alright, and then we need to roof this thing. So you can move anything that you've constructed. So we're going to move this indoors, pair our quest objective here. Get it maybe just right here in front of the door. Boom. I'm going to change my door so it doesn't automatically open. That can get a little annoying when you're walking around in your base. But there we go. Now we have a few building quests to quickly knock out here. So let's just build what it's asking for. A small storage container. Fuel-powered generator. Alright, and then we need to deposit some fuel cells. You can deconstruct items.
The sub-fief console comes
here
with
we
an
go.
automatic shield system that will keep your base safe from the sandstorms. Just keep the generator fueled, or the storms will tear at your walls. Extract it, store it,
Alright.
refine it, and
We got the blood purifier, and we have 6,000 liters of blood. Very beautiful. That'll start working for us there. So we technically already completed this quest. This will be making water for us now, but we're going to have to do, again, another 1,000 liter extraction, but that is very important to get set up ASAP, get your water going. But this blood purifier, like I was saying, you take the blood from your enemies, put it in here, and it will slowly generate purified water for you. These starter pieces of gear, you can recycle stuff later on, but right now we don't have that ability, so I might just destroy this. And also, when you construct anything that you build, any resources that are required, it will pull from your storages. So that's another really useful thing. Before we head out on this mission, I think what we're going to make is the fabricator here. And this will allow us to craft some very useful stuff. I'm going to need a little bit more space here. Get another little section of base built here. Probably actually don't have enough granite here. Yeah, we are completely out of granite. So I'm just going to quickly farm up some granite, make a little bit of a base expansion here. And that'll give us the space we need for all of the stuff. All All right, we'll tear down that wall and we will move our power generator. Perfect. So anything you've constructed, you can just freely move about, but we are going to need the ore refinery as well here. So let's go ahead and research the ore refinery. Get ourselves a small ore refinery and we can start cooking ourselves up some copper. Fortunately, there's a lot of copper around us, especially right in front of our base right here. We'll go ahead and grab up a bunch of copper here and we will get to work smelting that, and we have a really good head start here. There is a enemy camp right over there, so let's go ahead, take that guy out and get his blood to complete this quest. That guy right there has a good idea. In my opinion, I think building your base close to an enemy spawn, especially early on, is really important. That way you can just farm a ton of water whenever they respawn. There we go. First blood suck according to the quest here. Oh, that player is actually out there. He ran away from me. We are playing solo here, but you know, if we ever see any players, we can introduce ourselves, I suppose. All right, we got 171 copper, a little decent-ish supply there. Let's get all of that crafting up. Sprint on back to the base. Love that skill. And then speaking of blood, let's check this out. Yep, we already finished off a good amount there. Deposit blood into the blood purifier. And now we can drink super early on in the game. If you're below that last bar there, if you have these flowers nearby, I would recommend drinking them to fill up the bottom bar. You're limited to the bottom bar by drinking the flower dew. But that way, you can sort of min-max your water early on. So we'll go ahead and drink up here, refill ourselves as much as we can. Alright, so now we need to find the moisture caves. We already found one over there, but those moisture caves give us that material that we require to craft the next item in the quest here. It requires 6. We only have 1. I'm going to unlock the survey kit. And with our copper ore, actually you can pull from the refinery as well, so you don't need to have it in your hands like I just did. But we go here, we're going to need, EMF generators. We don't have any of those yet. We can craft up one of these. We're going to have to do some more exploration. Top ourselves up on water, and we're going to have to go for a bit of a hike here. We need to find the moisture-locked caves, and we need to find the EMF generators, which EMF generators you can find just at normal scavenger camps sometimes. Yeah, the early game loop is just going to be raiding these camps, killing these guys, gathering their blood to make sure you don't die of thirst. Ooh, this crashed motorcycle's got some good stuff in it. Very nice. And I do see a couple of cave icons on my map here. So I'm going to head in this direction, hopefully get ourselves some of that juicy micro sandwich. All right, we got one right here. Very nice. That's a big one. They gave us only one, though. Oh, and there's an EMF generator. Beautiful. Oh, and there was even some sandwich in there. Okay. That's everything we need. A little bit of free water there. We are going to need some more scrap metal, though. Might as well grab this sandwich while we're here, too. Another crashed motorcycle right there. Maybe some scrap or something for us. Maybe something even better than that. There's a little pile of scrap over there. Tons and tons of resources to be had. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. We'll be salvaging the scrap that we come across. We're going to need a good chunk of it. And we have enough scrap metal. Now it's ordering us to drink the blood water from our purifier, so we'll go ahead and do that. We should have a decent amount here. Go ahead and fill this up with blood again and drink our fill. Boom. All right, now we want to craft the still suit. So I'm going to just put the rest of my copper in here, get that going, and let's see what we need for the scavenger's still suit. I think we have everything we need. I'll grab that ammo there, gloves, hat, boots, body. There we go. All right, and here it is. So the suit takes up 2 slots there. Boots, mask, and gloves.
Impressive, Off-worlder. Just remember, if you didn't connect the tubes between the calves and the thigh pads just right, you'll be drinking your own liquefied feces. And that does not count as hydration, by the way.
All right, so the still suit will slowly fill its cash pocket with water. So your sweat and your urine, I'm guessing, gets processed inside the suit so you can get some more water out of your consumption. But now we're required to craft the survey device. So fortunately, we should have everything we need there. There we go, survey device. So the survey probe, as it says, will fully reveal the map region, but you do need to reach a target height before you can use it. So I think we climbed this mountain here. We should potentially be able to do it. I wish I had the grapple hook right now. That would make this so much easier. Plenty of rest spots here. Refill your stamina as we go up. And the other thing you can see on the compass there, that little planet, the Saturn icon there, is the planetologist class trainer, I believe. So we can get the planetologist quest underway as well while we're up here for our survey here. Oh, and it is high enough. So first zone, very easy. Didn't need to climb very high at all. But once this scan is finished, we will have the entire map of this region unlocked.
Very good.
Boom, there we go.
Griffin's Reach trade post. Come and find me there.
Here we go. This is the planetologist.
Watch your step, stranger. You look
And then we
like
can
something
accept
that stumbled
his
down a
contract.
shipwreck.
All right, so the dungeon right below us, this location here that we're standing on, there you can see our whole map is unlocked. Very beautiful. This location holds his quest item, and we're going to have to do that later on anyways for the main quest. So we might as well double up on that while we can. But for now, what we need to do is head over to the Griffin trade post. We have plenty of water in our system, so not concerned at all there. Let's head on over there. It's this location right here. Pop a little pin down, 600 meters. And we are going to need some copper ore to complete the quest there, from what I remember. So I'm just going to grab this copper rock right here. Should be enough for the quest. But at the trade post itself is the trooper class trainer as well. So we can get the trooper class and the planetologist class underway here. But there it is. You can see that beautiful little building over there. That is the trade post. All right, there's the trade post over there. Big open sand crossing here. But with our skill, should make it much, much easier. Absolutely love that skill. That is so cool. All right, there we go. A little bit of a climbing puzzle there, but we made it. This is the trading station,
Alas,
Griffin's
Soldier,
Reach.
It seems my fame precedes me even here.
All right, so here we have the contracts board. You can see the bounty on our friend there, 1 million Solari. But for now, we're going to take the copper quest, deliver 40 copper. And we can deliver it since we gathered that ahead of time. Boom, quest complete. All right, now we got to buy the recipe from this guy.
Stop.
All right, so we are going to buy the Mark 1 water bottle, basically what it is. Buy that. Very beautiful, so we can unlock the water bottle recipe once we get back to our base. The other thing we want to do is talk to the trooper here.
Look at the way you stand.
All right, so next quest for the trooper. There are 3 guys that we have to kill to complete his quest. That's definitely a priority on our list. And then, of course, enter this dungeon to complete the planetary guy. The other thing we have to do here is the scrap metal quest. We'll go ahead and accept this. All right, so our mission here is to go to this shipwreck. Tons of good, valuable resources in there. And of course, the dungeon here, the research testing center. So 2 very important landmarks. Building your starter base around this area will be super nice. Then we're going to have to go all the way over here to kill the guys for the trooper quest. But I think for now, let's head on back to our main base, get refreshed there with water and everything, and take care of our first quest here. Oh, somebody's doing their scan nearby. That's kind of cool that you can see their scan as it happens. Interesting. But here we are back at the base. Go ahead and fill our blood purifier, drink some more water here. I will learn this recipe here. We don't have the materials to craft it quite yet, I am going to craft a bunch more bolts here, some darts. We're going to get 300 darts crafted up. Go ahead and get the rest of our copper smelting while we're here as well. But there's our objective right over there. Ooh. I don't know what's exactly going on over there. Maybe a player is getting eaten by the worm right now. Wow, look how cool that thing is. Those ships, they look awesome. They're probably one of the most annoying aspects of this game, if I'm being honest. If the beam of light hits you while you're out there, it freezes you for like 30 seconds. You're just stuck as the beam of light shines on you. It's super annoying. But there we go. No problem running across the sand with our sprint skill. The worm didn't even catch us. Let's get on in here, take care of this quest. Just a few more things we need to do, and we can exit this zone. I'm not seeing any enemies, so another player may have already cleared out all the enemy spawns here. Oh, never mind. I'm hearing some guys now. Yeah, right there. I turned the volume of music down to 50%, and it's still ridiculously loud. Alright, we can use our scanner tool here, get into the little loot room. And, ooh, we got a melee weapon there. Very cool. Mechanical parts, all good stuff. Go ahead and equip our new melee weapon. That's 5 damage on the old one and 7 damage on the new one. More good loot there, very nice. Alright. Grabbing all the loot as we go through here. Another awesome chest right there. Grind our way through here. Alright, one more room here. Not sure if more enemies are going to pop out or what, but I think we are pretty much done. Grab all the chests. And this is the final big chest here. We got a, little recipe there. Very nice. Grab this. This will allow us to go through the door. There's a couple of last guys guarding the exit. There we go. Took a decent amount of damage there, unfortunately. We did have a ton of healing items. I did find a basic Mala pistol, which is significantly more damage than what we've been using. It is pretty beaten up, but it will be an upgrade for sure. But with that taken care of, there's the worm right there, slinking along. Let's head on over to the Trooper's quest over here. Yeah, we can kill things much, much more quickly with this upgraded pistol. And then over there, I believe, is our objective. So let's get on over there and take care of this Trooper quest. Alright, so the quest marker, I think, is leading us to this cavern here. So we're going to go in here. There's going to be an enemy to take out. And that was that. Atu. Oh. I did not notice the trap. Okay. We killed the guy, though. The next guy is over there, so there are a few guys that we're going to need to take out for this quest. But let's go ahead and grab up the loot while we're here. Be very careful of traps. Here we go, Shamal Tunnel. Alright, there's Shamal down. And I can see the trap this time. But here we go, a little chest here, more EMF generators, tons of great loot. Let's keep it rolling. But we do have, another one way over there. That's a little inconvenient. I think our best bet is to head back over here. Let's wait till the sandworm icon pops up and then we'll sprint. Beautiful. Alright, and then over there is where we need to head. We got 15 seconds on our cooldown, so let's get into the shade, hopefully. Alright, and we made it. Safe and sound. Let's wrap around in the shaded side. I am going to press F here and drink some of our still suit water. Keep that a little bit elevated there. Not 100% sure where this cave is. Probably down in this little rocky area, huh? We can just go outside here. This would be fine. And I think this is the last guy that we need to take out. All right. There we go. Yep, and we are done. We just need to go back to the trading area, and we'll be able to get the trooper class unlocked. Very, very awesome. That is a job well done. We have 2 quests that we can complete now. The one from the ship and the one from the trooper. We'll take a pit stop back at base, fill up our blood purifier, drink some water, and get to work on the next quests here. See, the fastest way, we're probably going to want to head back up through the wreckage. There is this little research camp right here. Might as well grab it while we're all the way out in this direction. Get a couple more research points. Alright, got our research. Beautiful. Nothing super crazy in terms of loot, but we did get some more research points, which is always great. Now, the loot inside of these points of interest does respawn. I think it's every 40 minutes, though. So I'm pretty sure it hasn't respawned for us yet. Alright, we got another camp here that we can just quickly rummage through, grab ourselves a few more research points. Should be super quick to take care of. Oh, and there's the research right there. Boom. 3 points for that one. And let's get out of here. Alright, we are pretty much back to our base here. Very awesome. Go ahead and refresh our water supply. All that good stuff. Home sweet home. Go ahead and drink our fill. And we do have 5 of this spice-infused copper. So we may have enough to make the water can. It takes exactly 5. Beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and make ourselves a canteen here. Very useful item. We will fill this up with all the water we have. So if we go to extract water, we can start to fill this thing up. So not very much in there, but that way we can keep this empty and have a separate water storage supply there. Yeah, we're looking good. We are pretty much on the cusp of being able to get out of here. So one thing we did not get was the Hotsman amplifier inside of this area. So I'm not sure exactly where we're supposed to grab that. I think we looted every single chest. Before we run all the way back to the Griffin Trading Center, I think we have to hit this one more time. 40 minutes has not passed yet, so it's not going to be a super efficient use of our time, unfortunately. I'm going to go back over there, grab that thing, and we're going to have all of our quests ready to complete. Oh, the loot has respawned. It has been 40 minutes. Wow. And we did get another weapon. Beautiful. Is this a player? That's a player. This is not a PvP zone. Yeah, I think he's trying to kill me, but... Oh, here we go. This is the, there we go. Holtzman amplifier is just in this little chest right here. Okay. I'm glad we came back, though, because we did get a really nice weapon there. And it does seem like the big chest respawned. Ooh, 8. Oh, and another rifle. Absolutely beautiful. We have 2 spare rifles now. Don't know if we could be any more efficient than we have been. Probably you could do this a lot faster. The other thing we're going to need is a lot of copper, according to our quests. So, fortunately, a bunch of that spawns here as well. So we're going to go ahead and grab all that up. Alright, so the next quest is to actually research the weapons that we've already found. So, going to be a little bit of a waste of skill points, but that is the thing we need to do to progress the story, so we will do that. It wants us to craft a full set of scavenger rags now, so I'm going to drink all of our stillsuit water. Unfortunately, we can't drink all of it. We have 34 intel points. We're going to need these scavenger rags. Go ahead and get our new armor going here. We should have enough, yeah, way more than enough materials. Get a full set of this scavenger gear. Alright, so as far as the bike parts go, we already have a motor, I believe, or a PSU. Engine. Okay, so we have 2 engines, so we don't need to craft an engine. I am going to unlock the bike here. Yeah, and then we're not going to be able to craft any of those other pieces. So we are going to need to do the dungeon first before we can get the bike. And I think we actually just do the dungeon before we turn in our quests, since we're right next to it, and hopefully after we clear the dungeon, we can craft the sand bike and really quickly get on over to this area over here. The other thing you definitely want to craft is the backup tool, but we need to use 1 more research point before we can do that. I'll go ahead and unlock the chemical refinery here. We're going to need that. And then the vehicle backup tool, which will be absolutely necessary. This basically is like a Pokeball for your vehicles. You can kind of just summon it into the tool and drop it wherever you want after it's been put into your inventory. Craft up a few more healing bandages, and then let's go hit this dungeon. Yeah, I think we're more than prepared for this dungeon. We got plenty of weaponry and ammunition, I think. It really isn't that difficult, very easy to solo. Some of the later dungeons in the next area get pretty tough, but this one is pretty simple, so we're just going to go through here, wipe these guys out, get all the loot, and build ourselves a sand bike, hopefully. Yeah, so all of these dungeons will have these little identifier bands. You're going to have to pick these up in order to walk through the force fields as you find them. We're just going to speed run this thing, I think. Oh, and there are little pockets of water that you can find on the way.
Welcome to Desert Botanical Testing Station number 2.
Oh, this is a player. Very cool. We got a player helping us out here. Make sure we grab some blood while we're at it. Always stay on top of your gathering, but the main thing you're going to want to do in these dungeons is find the loot. So here we go. That is exactly what we're looking for, those little parts. That will be what we need to craft ourselves the sand bike. Kind of cool that we have another player here. I don't know if we can call it solo exactly, if some random guys here, but this first dungeon is pretty easy. Yeah, a lot of the enemies seem to be cleared out already, actually. But what we are looking for are those... Oh, and we did also find a passive suspensor belt. So this allows you to negate fall damage, basically. So super useful item. But what we are after are these advanced servoses and then also the particle accelerators, which we haven't found any of yet, unfortunately. Oh, there we go. First particle accelerator right there. So unfortunately, if somebody else is in here, that might mean that the boss has already been killed, so we may not have an opportunity to fight the boss. He is also on a timer, so I don't know, we'll have to see if he's there or not. But at least all the loot is here for us. In these PvE areas, like the dungeons and everything, any player can grab their own version of the loot. It's not shared across players. But in PvP areas, the loot is just one player takes all. So, fortunately, right now we can grab all this stuff. But if we ever go to PvP areas, we got to be quick and we got to be lethal. All right, I think this is the boss area actually. So, we'll see. Yeah, shielded NPC tutorial here, but I'm not seeing him. So unfortunately, I think somebody already took the boss kill. The bosses do drop loot, so it's definitely useful to come here and kill the boss if he is up. But it's basically just a normal shielded enemy that you have to fight with your melee weapon. Not super crazy or difficult. And we found a blueprint, some other good stuff. And the one thing we definitely want to make sure we have is this. We need to find the mimic film. We have to go back because we did not find the mimic film. There's that player there, mopping up our leftovers. Oh, here it is, here it is. Okay, this right here. This is the door. Hidden door. All right, there. That's where the mimic film is. And get on in here. And it's in this chest right here. Boom. And there's some extra loot. And all the enemies are respawning. There we go. A little bit of extra loot, a little bit of free water. And we got the quest item. So definitely check for this hidden room once you get to the bottom. Right in this area next to where we got that key card over there. With that taken care of, we're pretty much done with this dungeon already. Like I said, very, very simple and quick. We already got everything in there. We got the key card, and let's head on through. So dungeon complete, and the main thing you're going to want to do after clearing this dungeon, I'm pretty much sure every dungeon has, like in this very early room, there's this little area that only unlocks after you clear the dungeon. So our friend is in here already. Let's go ahead and grab up all our loot. Beautiful stuff. And there we go. All loot acquired, all quests complete. This zone is done now. Hopefully we have enough materials to craft ourselves the sand bike, and we can just quickly hop on over to the trading post, complete all these quests, unlock the grappling hook. So much awesome stuff right on the horizon for us now that we've cleared this. Alrighty. Okay, we did find a bunch of new cool stuff. Some of these batteries, I think we'll probably recycle those. This blueprint is for a new suppressor module. So I'll show you actually what the suppressor module does here. So if we kind of climb up on top of this rock, you can see if you hold spacebar while you're climbing, you can kind of hover like that. Super cool. And then if you fall, it just automatically turns on and cuts fall damage. So definitely useful for climbing. And if you have the grappling hook, you can combine like the grapple into the hover, so you kind of just fling yourself really far distances. So, oop, worm out there. There he is. Close the door on him. But yeah, suppressor module, very awesome. But the main thing that we wanted here was the sand bike. So, as far as sand bike parts go, we have a bunch of engines. We only found engines, unfortunately. So that saves us the engine craft. Everything else we're going to have to craft here, though. So, let's see here. PSU, chassis, hull. Then we're going to need 3 of these treads. Alright, and that's everything. We are going to need the welder. So the welding torch right there, and I am going to craft up a little bit of wire. That way we can repair our engine. There we go, we're ready to go here. Once all that's finished up crafting, we're going to have ourselves a sand bike. And we're not really going to need it for long, but I think I will craft up maybe like a little garage for this thing, just so it can be out of the sandstorm. So we can drive the bike up the ramp into the base. Really annoying to do that, but you do want to have it sheltered. Otherwise, if the sandstorm comes, it will destroy your vehicle. And there we go. All of the pieces for the bike done here. Let's kind of align it with the door here to make our lives a little easier. Boom. And there we go. Let's go into repair mode. We'll repair the engine here. There we go. Our bike is ready to go. We just need some fuel. Unfortunately, we did find a fuel cell at some point, so we have a small fuel cell here that we can use to refuel our bike. So you come over here, hold F to interact, and then just refuel. And boom. Sand bike unlocked. Absolutely awesome. We do actually need to make the chemical refinery in order to progress the quest, so I'm just going to pop this down here. This is what you use to make fuel cells, which only require some fuel cells, obviously. Except the medium, which requires a little bit of water as well. But there we go, with that unlocked, we are ready to take it on its first journey here.
That's it, off-worlder. You're ready. I'm waiting at Mirzabar. That's the great rock formation that looks like a giant hammer.
Alright, so you can see the single door is a little annoying with the sand bike. But there we go, boom. Let's get on over to the trading post. Oh, you know what we forgot to do is make the recall tool. That's definitely something that we want here, so I'm going to go ahead and craft that up. I think we have enough materials. Oh, we don't have enough copper. I think let's just drive it over there, get some copper on the way. We'll make the recall tool for sure. There should be plenty of copper for us to snag on our path over to the trade station. Yeah, having the sand bike just makes your life so much easier, so much quicker. Other players cannot grab your vehicles unless you make it like a public vehicle. You can see your permissions in the manage section, I think. Yeah, permissions. And you have to give players permission in order to use your vehicle. So you don't have to worry about other people stealing your bike or anything like that. But let's go ahead and complete all of our quests.
Back again.
And there we go. We should have the trooper class unlocked now. And we can grab the grappling hook. Yes, we're learning that right now. And we will equip this to Q, and we have our sprint and our grapple. Absolutely beautiful. With that done, we are good to go. We are good to get out of this area. Of course, we're going to have to figure out what we want to take with us, because we're going to need to abandon our starter base. That is part of the quest line. You actually have to abandon your starter base, so that's why it's probably not a good idea to take too much time building your starter base out in this area. The game actually forces you to abandon that. I think one thing that we want to do before we head out is maybe recycle all of the stuff that we don't need right now. The recycler we can craft, I think, with just copper ore. Maybe that's one more job that we take care of before we move. We're going to get all of this, 100 more copper cranking up here. Okay, and the next thing that I think I want is the recycler. I don't know if we can actually do that yet. Can we? Yes, we can. It'll take 30 copper ingots, but I'm going to research this, and we will build that and recycle all of this extra gear that we've just been hoarding that we don't need anymore. And the other thing that we can do now is climb up with the grappling hook. And with our suppressor module, compare it to the first time we climbed here. How much more quick is this going? That is so awesome. Here we go. Let's unlock the planetologist.
Come back.
All right, planetologist unlocked. Yeah, one of the main things that you want is increased yield from mining. So I'm going to start learning this tree here. I'm just going to go all the way up. We'll learn this, and then we will learn increased yield here as well. Boom. So that's a 30% better yield. So the mining grind is cut down significantly thanks to the planetologist. We have the grapple hook there. And of course in the Bene Gesserit we have our sprint. So that's kind of my starter setup. Once you complete more purple quests, you'll unlock your third slot here. So we'll have another skill that we can use there. But that is my plan for the build right now. And then the other thing I think I'm going to do is get ranged damage plus from our trooper skill. This will be 3% extra range damage. Very nice stuff there, so we'll go ahead and unlock that. Followed by, I think, battle hardened. That'll give our skills even more cooldown, 20% more cooldown there. Alright, back at the base here, our copper is still cranking away, but we have enough for the recycler. So I'm going to go ahead and pop down a recycler here. Stick it right there for now. And, oh, we ran out of power. We're going to need to make a second power generator. Get that there, get a few cells in there, and there we go, back online. We're going to be deconstructing most everything in this base anyways, but for now, what we can do is start recycling down all of the gear that we're not using. So a lot of these power packs here, I'm not going to destroy, I think, every single one. I think it's useful to have at least a backup set of things like power pack and all of that in case the worst happens. And I think that's everything that we want to recycle here. So we just come into our recycler here and just press spacebar on all the stuff that you're not going to use.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
And our first sandstorm coming in. All right, and that is everything recycled down. Tons of good materials here for us. There we go. That saves a ton of inventory, and we get a bunch of materials that we can use for crafting other stuff later down the line. And yeah, the lady said a sandstorm is coming in. You can check your map and see. But if we were outside in the sandstorm, we would take big damage for being exposed to it. And if you die in the sandstorm, I believe you lose everything, similar to how you died to the sandworm. And if your vehicle is outside, it will get absolutely obliterated by the sandstorm as well. So definitely keep your vehicle stored in a sheltered area. And we still have 5 skill points left. I don't know if I want to blast through the Bene Gesserit passives here, but these are all really good passives. Healing rate, sun tolerance, self-healing. But we do also want to unlock the Mentat. Garment Keeper reduces your clothes time. There's another ranged damage passive here that you can get. The Marksman gives you better headshot damage, which is nice. But all of these are really nice in addition to what you get from the Bene Gesserit. But you know what? I think we are going to get some of this stuff here from the Bene Gesserit. So we'll get recovery there. I think we'll then go into trauma recovery, sunstroke. You know what? I'm just going to spend my points on these things. Self-healing gives us better healing effectiveness, but I think we'll first go maybe for vitality. All right. And we get more points. We'll get self-healing. We'll get hopefully the Mentat skills that we want as well. But there is all of our skill points spent. But yeah, I think we're pretty much ready here. I'm just going to do some preparation before we tear down the base. We have a ton of water left over here. We pull this out and we start demolishing some stuff. This will give us some copper ingots. This will give us salvage metal. Oh, and we are full here. And there's some 47 left on the floor. Maybe what we can do is, yeah, we can craft an inventory piece here. So let's go ahead and craft the inventory. We can store a bunch of stuff in our sand bike. That's actually a good idea. All right, got our inventory there. We can open the inventory and we have decent amount, 250 volume that we can stick in here. Just start dumping a bunch of heavy stuff in there. Now we can pretty much tear down everything in here. It's such a shame that we have so much leftover water. All right, and let's grab up a bunch of granite and maybe even some more copper ore, because copper is a little bit more scarce out in that area. And I think we're ready to head on over. All right, I think we're ready to go here. Let's go ahead and commit. Start busting down all of our power. I'll move the bike over here just for now, where it's still going to be sheltered. But you do get a refund partially on all the stuff that you deconstruct, so definitely worthwhile getting all those materials back. And, you know, I think we can leave this water here for a lucky player. We'll have a nice chunk of water there for them if they find our base. But we're going to leave this here for now, because we're going to have to abandon it. I think if we look at our map, we can still see, yeah, so you hold X to abandon a base. We're going to need to do that. But the storage there is totally full now. All right, we're ready to move. So I kind of have an idea of where I want to head, kind of based on my experience in the beta, so we're going to head out over in this direction. All right, and then I think right through this gap here is where we want to head. So this little valley that you can see, we have to cross the desert, this big, vast open desert. It's very scary because the worm will come for you. You can hear him over there already. But I think if you go through the valley, it's probably your best bet because going uphill kind of slows you down a little bit. So staying in a path that doesn't have very many uphills is going to be the quickest way to traverse. So there is that stupid ship. If that spotlight catches you, it freezes you. I've had a experience where the spotlight caught me while I was running away from the worm, so I was just freaking out. So definitely want to avoid that. It looks like he's going to be moving over to the left, so I think we should be good here. But just speed your way across. The worm will probably pop out here, but we should be good. As long as we don't get caught by the spotlight, that is. Oh, there's the worm. There's the worm right there. So he's coming for us, but we are already in a safe area, so we made it. That scary, scary worm there. But here we go. New biome. Absolutely beautiful. So we have iron available to us now. You can see if we can spot some iron nodes here. Here we go. This is an iron node. So we need an upgraded cutting tool in order to actually gather that. Does seem like there's a player base up over there, so already some players making moves. I think I want to try building my base where I made it last time. So I'm going to head over in this direction. Drive across the loud sand here. Yeah, the drum sand. You can see that on the map. But if you... Oh. Yeah, the worm heard me there. We're safe now. You can see on the map these red spots are drum sand. That means if you cross it, you make a ton of noise and the worm will come for you there. But nice. This little spot right here is where I made my base last time. Definitely not going to be our permanent base location, but just for clearing out all the objectives in this area. I think this will be where we make our temporary spot here, just to, you know, have a nice little base of operations to clear through all of our objectives before we move to our more permanent home. We need some salvaged metal, so let's go ahead and check our storage here and get to work on our fife here. Just plop this down and let's get to work. Super simple little base here. I'm just going to back it up against the cliff edge. Keep on building, keep on building. Little staircase ramp for our bike here. There are a couple of reasons why this spot is a decent space. It's really close to a ton of iron. It's also really close to an enemy camp, which means you can farm blood for water really easily early on. That's what I'm talking about with the annoying bike going through the door. You can unlock a double door, but until you do that, you're squeezing it in like this. All right. We are sheltered, and we are good. Now we just got to make sure we get some power down here. Get 6 little fuel cells in there for right now. Make sure we're powered. All right. Of course, we're going to want our blood purifier working for us, so we'll get this down ASAP. Have a little bit of blood we can stick in there, and we got water. A little bit of basic storage. I'm going to be making a double door there, so let's just get it. I mean, we can move it at any time, really, but might as well just have it kind of good to go. All right, and there we go. Everything's sorted. New base set up. Water production is underway. I'll show you why I remember this spot in particular. It's because there's just an enemy camp right here. The enemies are a lot tougher in this region, so definitely be aware of that. There we go. Got him. All right. And this is my little water farm here. So these guys will be respawning every couple, like maybe 5 or 10 minutes. So yeah, just free water right outside my door. Some more scrap metal there, some more scrap metal here. So I don't know if this spot is necessarily the best in the game or anything like that, but it's definitely convenient having that little enemy camp right there. Tons of granite and iron nearby. And that is why I chose to make my little temporary base here. Not going to be our main base for long, for sure, but just until we can complete the objectives out in this area. But yeah, there we go. We have officially graduated from the starting area. We are now in the Eastern Vermilius Gap. We have made it out of the copper area into the iron area, and we are ready for some big progress. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and you know, I'm really enjoying this game quite a bit. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to more episodes. I certainly know that I'm going to be playing the game quite a bit more. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.